Be this, Peter Obi that, Peter Obi this, Peter Obi do that, Peter Obi everywhere. But you can't be say one early morning, you just wake up. You can't say Peter Obi say he don't tire, the pressure too much, the stress too much, the wahala wey one face, he no go fit again. Say he don't step down, he don't give up. How you go feel? Will you be happy? Will you be glad about it?
Nigeria is not my country. I am an Ijaw man. I have never chosen to.
As somebody once said, there is a method in our madness. We will draw the
people who are industrious and competitive. It brings in some envy and anger. That was people who are industrious and competitive. It brings in some envy and anger. That's what comes with competitiveness. This is why most other parts of this country don't like the Igbos. We are competitive. So in that spirit of competition, we are also Republicans. If you go to a family, the same family, mother and father, and there are 7, if all of them don't speak, there will be crisis. It's unfortunate. That's genetic. That's the way God has made us. But we don't hate ourselves, because Igbos were good loyalists following Nnamdi Azikiwe. They were even more loyal following Emma Okpara. How about the loyalty they showed generally Odumegwu Ojukwu during the Civil War? So you cannot describe our people as hating ourselves. If we have reason to do something, we'll do it. That was the same reason they showed in voting for Peter Obi, because we lacked leadership that should have strategized. Igbos have a saying, when you have enemies surrounding you, you have to wash your house. It's better said in Igbo. You know, if we had leaders who were prepared to strategize, and if you make reference to what I told you, Dr. Raymond Dobbs, he said 32 years ago, that a time there is for us to look inwards. Presidency, Goodluck Jonathan was president for 6 years. He couldn't build a road from Port Harcourt to Yenagoa. I visited his table 5 times on his invitation, and I could see the tragedy that was that presidential table. The conflict, the ethnocentric manipulations. You needed extreme courage to want to take a decision in this country. For anything you do, there's an explanation. You remember when, what was his name, from Abia was chief of army staff? Kano State said, all the officers he promoted were Igbos, and they published it. Out of 15 generals, 5 were from Kano State. Up to today, they didn't make any other comment. That is what you see in this country. So what I'm saying is that Igbos have a right to aspire to any leadership, because that's what the Constitution says. But we know that the Constitution says one thing, and the rest of the country, they do what they like. So, but I don't think we should give hope. But most importantly, I want to wait, because looking at the evidences so far at the Presidential Tribunal, I'll be shocked if a different judgment is made. I'm looking forward that this election should be annulled and a proper election held. That is when every group should re-strategize. Re-strategize. I will not go into the details of the strategy, but from the presidential evidences and witnesses before the tribunal, it will be magic if any other decision is reached, other than there was no election, as it were. That was the whole write-up of rigging. And I say it with due humility, not running down the man who has been sworn in. I mean, he's a very smart guy. I would have been very confident if a man called Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, a professor. You know, I have the singular privilege that my wife is a professor of medicine. She's not an angel, but 90% of her pronouncement is honest, because she deals with human life. If you're dishonest in ordinary things, you won't know when you are dishonest in treating people and they die. So when I look at the problem of Nigeria, presently in this election that just passed, it's a problem we look at Mahmoud Yakubu. I don't know what kind of professor he is, for all the spoken words, which is information from Bono Okoye, and they never did anything. Instead, they conspired. With the evidences available at the various tribunals, look at what is happening in Nasarawa State. Isn't that terrible? Everywhere. You know, we're looking at the presidential court election petition at the national level. Horrible things are going on across the country at the states. People people said they use duress to force them to sign election results in 21st century Nigeria, where Yakub Makubu swore that he will give us the best election ever. I only pray God that from the evidences available, like I said a few minutes ago, I'll be surprised if these elections are now cancelled.
Morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. Sorry, that's starting late a bit. Lord Larry, good morning to you. Trust you had a wonderful night rest. If you're coming in across this channel for the first time, please don't forget to click the subscription button and turn on your notification bell. Don't forget to make use of the like and your super chat. And if you have any comment, you can join us via the link in the comment section and join us here to air your view. All right, today's newspaper review will be starting with the Stay newspaper. Sanye reports federal government discontinues funding of professional bodies, councils. And mixed reaction to directive. Federal government moves to resolve NSITF management workers disputes. That's on page 8. And research shows 130 countries exploring central bank digital currency. Military remains loyal to constitution. President says nation's security stability are its scared responsibility. And this is coming from Tinubu. He said, on my watch, Nigeria will know peace, stability, and prosperity. Urges citizens to have faith in country themselves. Praise for victory in battle against insurgency. Our governments will address infrastructure deficit, says Chetima. Saraki, Lagbaja, Obi governors, others salute Muslims at Salah. And President Tinubu observes first held prayer in Lagos. And that's all on this day newspaper. Then over to Daily Sun newspaper. It says OB of Onisha heads committee to ransom to harmonize Igbo culture. Tinubu asks Nigerians to make more sacrifices. Says country will experience peace, stability, and prosperity. Why I won't accept beaded crown, only authentic Olubanda crown. This coming from Lagduja. And PDP APC trade blames over alleged attack on Adeleke on prayer ground. And ex-Senate spokesmanship Digsbon's claims. Structure of my government will soon start faking shape. Makinde assures. Archbishop takes NAS advocates end of election cases before inauguration. Once for Buhari ministers probed. Obi faiths Muslims says love unity will take Nigeria to desired heights. That's on page 26. In Atiku, Winke fight chiefs to Senate over minority leaders' seats. Ex-Rivers governor mobilizes against Tabua. Tinubu's London trip not for medical check-up, insists APC. And over to our Vanguard newspaper, Lasut performs first non-surgical hole in arts repair. Drama as Adeleke's ex-Senate spokesman clash at held prayers. And still on the tariff hike, NERC awaits President's approval plan stakeholders meeting. And crack in Benue APC as splinter group conveyances meeting to zone position. Presidency's fireback at PDP Labour Party over alleged anti-people policies. PDP concerns APC. Federal government alleges anti-people policies. Tax Nigerians on prayers over economic hardship. Tinubu's government lives in opulence while Nigerians groan. This coming from Labour Party. PDP envious of Tinubu's achievements in 3 weeks. This also coming from the presidency. And Tinubu taking bold steps to reposition Nigeria. This coming from APC. At El Kabri, CD's chief of army staff vowed to tackle insecurity. Illegal sale of government property. Plateau tax force reads riot acts to developers and others. Shown ethnic religious rivalry, Tinubu urges Nigerians. We must interrogate SDGs. This coming from scholars. NSIT Health resolves dispute on PEMSEX shared union leaders. And this from Olufasan on page 16, so you can read that up. Then on Sports News, page 28, don't leave Napoli yet. Obafemi Mats advises Osime. And over to the Punch newspaper. The marketers project 700 naira per liter. And 120 billion naira USSD debt won't be cancelled, telcos tells banks. Nigeria's digital infrastructure inadequate for cashless economy. That's coming from World Bank, and it's on page 20 of the Punch newspaper. And still on the Salah, current pains necessary, says Tinubu. Government preach unity. President assures Nigerians of better days. PDP lambastes APC. And governors demand peaceful coexistence as Muslims celebrate Salah. Laduja rejects Makide's planned division of I shifts. That's on page 12. In community grounds over bad road. 6. Abiodu's intervention. Honestly, this bad road is something else. It's something else. I was traveling yesterday. Even the trucks on the way are dragging space, are fighting for space with other vehicles, and it's very, 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 very bad. I think the government have to do something about that. Very important, because lives have been claimed due to that careless driving. Drama as Senate ex-spokesman Adeleke supporters clash at held ground. And that's all states. Between powerful governors and oppressed systems. As Tinubu relocates from Bordelon to White House, and federal government to stop funding professional bodies, cancers from 2026. A delicate senator clash over reserved space at Olson Praying Ground. And presidency, PDP trade blames over plea low-key celebration. In stock markets, gains 5 trillion naira in 6 months. Then over to Daily Trust. Federal government stop funding of professional bodies cancelled. Despite outcry over JAM cut of marks, data shows 140 plus among lowest. How Sokoto famous butcher was killed over alleged blasphemy. Estate economic reforms worsening poverty. Reforms could push 7.1 million Nigerians into poverty by year end, World Bank. And only sequential execution will impact positively on people. It is important that reforms are not forced. This coming from Prof. Uwaleke. And PDP concerns APC, federal government over anti-people policies. And still on the celebration, Tinubu, Royal Fathers, IMAPS, apps on unity, patriotism. And drama as APC, PDP, chieftains clash over sitting arrangement at Osun held ground. And 3 arrested for killing naval rating in Ondo. Student free 6 inmates at Soleja custody. And that's all on the newspaper today. So let's go over to other stories of the day. And still on that bad road, let me play the video because I was pissed off and I have to make just few videos about it, just a short clip. So you can imagine that. I could not take the clip of the other truck. The truck came from behind my vehicle and started dragging space, trying to enter, I think, trying to come into our own lane, but in a wrong way. And it was on speed. So if anything happens now, they'll say, okay, because of the driver, maybe the other vehicle's driver is not maybe serious, or is just being careless. And it's wrong. Very wrong. One, the road is bad, and secondly, the drivers are driving recklessly. They're so restless in their driving, and it's wrong. The government have to do something about the road. And also, to left for me, I prefer if they will have their own space, not having the same space with other vehicles. Okay, so still on the subsidy removal, a measures to regenerate the economy. Progressive development happens in a society where the commonwealth of a nation appears to be fairly distributed. Without doubt, economy and whatever is done with it reflects on the life of its citizens. In the inaugural speech of the 16th President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on May 29, 2023, Bola Tinubu, he re-echoed his intention to abide by his manifesto by declaring that petrol subsidy is gone. Ever since the statement was made, it has raised dust which has yet set to settle. In a normal sense, subsidy is expected to be for a particular time frame to soften the effects of a policy. But fuel subsidy in Nigeria has changed, meaning to something else. To some people, it is believed that as long as the country exists, subsidy must go on. In practical sense, fuel subsidy has done more damage to the Nigeria economy than what it intends to correct, especially in the last 10 years or thereabouts. Besides the mind-blowing corruption in it benefits more of the few and worthy than the larger of the indigent ones. In fact, neighboring countries were feeding fat at the expense of the federal government as a result of subsidized fuel in Nigeria. Having seen the rot in fuel subsidy arrangements and policy, President Goodluck Jonathan on January 1st, 2012 announced total withdrawal of fuel subsidy, and the price per liter jumped from 65 naira to 114 naira almost immediately. The withdrawal was rebuffed by mass protests tagged Occupy Nigeria across the country. Various stakeholders led by the Nigeria Labour Congress and the federal government and settle at midpoint. 19 naira. To clarify some of the points raised by the NLC, the Senate constituted a committee to look into the amount claimed for fuel subsidy in the previous year. The little report that got to the public domain was disguising now that everybody has seen that fuel subsidy no longer sustainable economically and that few people are the principal beneficiary of the so-called fuel subsidy. Is it not better for the government to take its hands off and be a regulator to allow the private sector to do the business? Can we keep applying the same model to solve a knotty problem and expect different outcomes? Definitely not. To have a better result, a tough decision is not unexpected. However, for all and sundry to support Tinubu's fuel subsidy withdrawal policy, it must come clean to the citizens for palliatives to ease the hardship. Average household uses cooking gas. The price is currently crashing, and I doubt if palliatives were responsible for the drop in price. It would be fine if palliative are geared towards it to bring the price of a kg to 300 naira or thereabout. Upward salary review is another way to do it. Palliatives to agricultural and related items are important at these trying times. There's so much hunger in the land. Demand of 200,000 naira minimum wage by the NLC for workers as a relief is a joke taken too far. Agree that the purchasing power of naira is weak, but it has not got to that ridiculous state. Besides, does the government exist only to pay workers' salaries? Other labor forces outside government circle are 10 times more and have the right to basic and social amenities. The launch and expected refined fuel from Dangote refinery by August this year will in no small measure add value to the Nigerian economy. In a year or two of consistent local production, the impacts would have been felt. Healthy competition among these refineries and other ones that may come up thereafter will bring down the price to reach the average consumer. An era of continuous defending of naira in the international markets because of pressure will definitely come to an end. And as a result, this increase in forest reserve is inevitable. The core mandate of the CBN, which is price stability, will receive undivided and better attention for the benefit of all. Pleading to the people by President Tinubu to make sacrifices to save the country from going under would be more welcome if it directs the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to provide detailed information on how the price is arrived at, not just churning out retail price. The consumers need to know if the new price is premised on importation pending the time Dangote refinery can meet substantially the needs of the people. If it is based on importation, what is refined cost, freight insurance, storage, movement costs from one region to the other, allowable profit margin to the dealers, and the selling of all points? what will be the exchange rate? Is it the new unified foreign exchange rate President Tinubu talked about in his inauguration speech, or the old Central Bank of Nigeria rates? It would also be good if the policymakers at different levels can let the people know what they too will forgo at this period for the better of all. The 4 government-owned refineries had installed capacity of about 400,000 crude barrels per day, but hardly produced 70,000, with installed capacity of 650,000 barrels per day. Dangote Refinery had expanded the frontiers for the private sector in industries. On the average, Nigeria explores 2.2 million barrels of crude oil per day. If such a trend continues, it would get to a time that every barrel of crude oil explored would be refined in country, thereby creating opportunities by exportation of refined oil as against the current situation of crude oil exploitation that takes away jobs from us. The call for a pour by SERAP into the first subsidy payment between 2016 and 2019 should not be handled with kid gloves. Most importantly, how $2.1 billion and 3.1 trillion naira budgeted for subsidy payments vanished. The current administration should wait for Serap to file a lawsuit for Madam Moss order to compel it to probe the subsidy scam. Doing so may doubt its stance on subsidy removal policy and accountability. Visiting the past is good if it will create an enabling foundation for future policy to stand on. Nigerians, home and abroad, are waiting to see the renewed hope manifesting in all areas of life for the good of all. Mr. Van Maxwell, good morning, you're welcome. And over to the OB of Onisha Earth Committee to harmonize Igbo culture. Let's see what we have there. This coming from Manos Eze from Enugu. He said National Executive Committee NEC of Ohaneze Indibo worldwide has constituted a standing culture committee headed by the Obi of Onisha, Alfred Ashegbe. Chairmen of Traditional Rulers Council in the rest of Igbo states are members. The core mandate of the committee is to harmonize various aspects of Igbo culture, particularly the Iriji, that's New Yam Festival, with a view to having common cultural calendar. National Publicity Secretary Alex Ogonia, who spoke to Daily Sun on the highlights of the NEC meeting presided by the President General Emmanuel Iwayawu at the National Secretariat of Ohaneze Indibo in Enugu on Tuesday, said the harmonization would not only stem the bastardization of some facets of Igbo culture, but also enhance the preservation and promotion of their heritage. The committee is to harmonize certain aspects of the Igbo culture, especially the Iriji. It is discovered that every community has its Iriji and groups too. We want to see how we can bring all the subcultures into one when it comes to Iriji and make it a festival where within that period every part of Igbo land will come for Iriji, Ogbonia said. Under its former President General, Nya Obudu Ohaneze had muted the idea of harmonizing traditional marriage, burial, and other aspects of Igbo culture. The NEC also constituted a local organizing committee for the staging of 2023 Igbo Day in Enugu. Fred Eze, with Ogbonia as one of the members. This year's Igbo Day celebration would hold on September 29. Mr. Maxi, I'm good, thank you. How have you been? How have you been? It's been a while, I think, and we've missed you here actually. All right, so let me continue. In addition, the Ohaneze NEC reviewed the funding system of the Apex Igbo body and resolved to adopt a creative digital fundraising mechanism that would enable Igbo people from across the globe contribute its pulse through the internet. After a presentation by experts, it was agreed that this would boost Ohanese's financial base and make the organization to be more independent, since it would no longer depend on anybody, groups, or state governors for funding. So please, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to click the subscription button and turn on your notification bell so as to get notified whenever we're live. And if you have any comments, you can join me here via the link. So I continue. However, the NEC condemned as most reprehensible the continued use of Ohanese brand name for devious purposes by some recalcitrant Igbo youth, especially the sustained attacks on Imo State Governor Hope Uzudima by one Igbo Ayanka. So that's all on this update. So with that, I'm come to the end of this newspaper review. Lord Larry, thank you for staying tuned, and other viewers out there, thank you for staying tuned. So everyone who clicked on the like button, thank you. Mr. Mazi, it's been a while. Thank you for coming through. Sunday Christopher, yeah, I see you. Thank you. Johnson Iber. Okay, Johnson Iber said something. Why should you be shocked? Nnamdi Kanu has been discharged, but the same government is holding him. How do you expect Obi to get justice? Mr. Mazi, you're welcome, sir. Okay, Mr. Mazi, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me? Am I coming out loud? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I said I just want to touch on one important headline before I run along. You see, I the comment of Ohaneze Ndibo and what they intend to do is long overdue, and I believe that the Ohaneze Ndibo have lost their relevance in the affairs of managing the cultural advancement of the Igbo-speaking, Biafrans. And in case they don't know, I'm a Ghanaian. I expected them long before now to begin to rewrite the lies that has been told to my mother's riverine cousins, brothers or sisters. There is hate as we speak within those areas. That was what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the jinx Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was breaking and breaking them fast before he was kidnapped in Kenya. I expected the Ohaneze Ndigbo to begin to go and look after their people in the riverine area. Yes, they are in the minority. Go after them and look at them. You are the senior brother to your cousins. Go and ask for them. Look after them. Bring them back. Correct all these misinformation and lies that have peddled for many years that has become to be true. They said if lies are told for many years and there is no rebuttal to it, there is no clarification to that lies, it will become truth. The lies of our enemies, the discord and hatred they sowed, the seeds they sowed, has germinated, and they have let me just say, rooted taproot into the ground that will be difficult to uproot. I expected them, instead of doing what they call this fancy show and whatever that they are doing, they should begin to go after their cousins in the riverine area and begin to reunite them, so that there will be peace within that area. There will be peace within that area. They will not see their people in the hinterland areas as enemies. These are the things that are supposed to be corrected. And that is the reason I am saying this, because that lies the unity of Biafra. And if that is not done, the other people are saying is, these other people are saying was, there will be no harmony and it will be difficult for us to come. All of you are one in that particular place. You have common value system. Everything you do, two-piece wrapper, the way you tie your headgears, and so on and so forth. You are dancing and your cultural, everything is the same. The problem is just that a little variation in your accents or languages. I just hope that there will be a day when the riverine people and these our people here will be in harmony and speak in one voice. And as you are preparing to do that or willing to do that, then God will make your enemies to flee away from you. God bless you, Sister Kewe. God bless everybody, and God bless Biafran people, both in the Biafra land and in the diaspora. May God bless you and protect you wherever you are. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, sir. I sincerely appreciate it. My pleasure. It's nice having you here. And thanks to all our viewers out there. Thank you all for staying tuned with us. Do have a wonderful day. So see you same time tomorrow.
As somebody once said, there is a method in our madness. We will draw their army down into our land. Their flanks will be opened up. Their villages will be occupied by bandits and terrorists that they themselves created. That by the time they are done and we have sent them packing from Biafra land, they will have no home to go to. All of them don't have no home to go to. The zoo is finished.